And I think that the socially conscientious thing would be, as a collective, to continue to demonize anti-vaxxers as a whole. I mean, it's just that it's a bit like any conspiracy theory that poses a direct impact on our society, much like young creationists. I think the only way to really tackle it is to ridicule it into oblivion, and that would, of course, include openly scorning and demonizing these people.
I would agree. Katie, who was your inspiration for deciding to use that word terrorist?
So when I was writing the article, I was sitting in my basement at the time, and I was thinking about a provocative way to get a discussion about what the anti-vaxxers are doing and the chaos that they are creating in our society right now. They're causing a massive divide. They're creating a false narrative about, they have very strategic methods in how they manage things. People like Larry Cook and Del Bigtree, they use images of dead babies to say that these dead babies are because of vaccines. They target women to get them emotionally charged, and then they make them believe that very false ideas about vaccines. Once they get them to believe these ideas, then they get them charged up to convince, to fight, to attack anyone that doesn't agree with them. They attack mothers on Facebook who lose babies. They attack families that lose kids to the flu. They attack people in general for I can't tell you how many times I'm attacked because my son is autistic and I am blamed for his autism because I must have vaccinated him. So what I thought was,
Katie, didn't you and I, though, you and I both got into a little bit of trouble with this that Sunday night because we did a stream where we titled the stream, it was a Smoking Nun, where we titled the stream that. And I remember getting, I got a lot of emails and stuff like this, just eviscerating me almost for the use of that word. But I too stand behind that. I think it's an appropriate word to use to describe what they're doing.
To be honest, I've had a ton of support. That article has been shared over 100,000 times. It is everywhere. People are using. Hold on a second. Wait, let me just finish.
Yeah, sure.
So what I think is most appropriate now is, why are they terrorists? In the middle of a massive outbreak in New York where they cannot contain it, where department heads at the health department are begging people to cooperate. The community of anti-vaxxers is putting a proverbial FU with their fingers flying high, and they're hosting measles parties to infect more people to bring measles further into their community. And so in the last week, we have added 90 new cases in the country of measles. We are at 555 cases of the measles in 20 states. At this rate, it is the fourth month of the year. We will easily surpass 2,000 cases this year alone, which would put us in the worst year in probably 30 years. And that's all because of anti-vaxxers. And that's a direct threat to children who cannot be vaccinated. That's a direct threat to people who have cancer. That is a direct threat to people that are immunocompromised and to the elderly. If that's not bioterrorism, if that's not terrorism, I don't know what is. They know what they're doing, and they're spreading the measles.
Yeah, well, you had
I'm
said
really
in
sorry if I'm cutting in. I'm actually losing a lot of words just because it's an international call, but I just wanted to point something out that I never quite noticed before. I totally get that it's a very apt analogy to call anti-vaxxers terrorists just by the fact that, yeah, they do act through threats of violence to affect political change. However, given that it's not the intended outcome to cause overall societal harm, I think it's somewhat analogous to the previous discussion insofar that we seem to keep on, I guess, becoming inculcated into a society of fear that exists off threats. you have to use this specific word and you can't use these unwords because I'm going to ostracize you. I honestly think that a lot of political correctness operates in a very similar sort of mechanism, despite the fact that the intended outcome is not social harm. It divides us and makes us more contentious and removes the middle grounds from most discourse.
I think
Just an
there's
observation.
different ways of, yeah, well, and I think there's different ways of like looking. There's not one specific definition for terrorism. Terrorism is like political or motivation to intimidate or to inflict harm. They intimidate people into believing that vaccines are like bad. They inflict harm by attacking people that lose babies, by spreading communicable diseases. There's lots of different words to look at terrorism. And the reason why I picked terrorist is because I knew that picking a provocative word like that would get people like energized, and they would like start to think of these people as menaces to society, because they are.
But they are trying to inflict
between you and me.
How many laws are in each state trying to like lower the requirements for opting out? I mean, that's the thing. They're trying to.
Hang on, Kyle. You guys are talking over each other because you guys can't hear each other because it's an international call. So he was talking. He was talking.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'll let you guys go. I just wanted to say, Katie, I totally agree. In my day-to-day not day-to-day, when the conversation comes up and I'm with people, like talking in person, I call anti-vaxxers baby killers, and I make no apology for it. And I put forth the argument that, yeah, this is the outcome of their ideology, and I can't distinguish between an anti-vaxxer and someone who literally harms children out of whatever mental defect they suffer from.
Right.
Yeah.
But they are inflicting a political agenda too. Like Katie pointed that out, that it's often political. Terrorists are often causing harm with a political agenda. They are. Katie, how many states are enacting laws where they're trying to lessen the requirement for people to opt out of vaccines? How many states is that going through now?
Oh my God, I don't even know. 19 maybe. It's ridiculous.
Almost 20, I think. Yeah.
See, the argument I see you making, Katie, you had mentioned back a couple of years ago that there was about 110,000, I think, people that had died from the measles in your article, right? And that is a significant number, and probably I would venture a guess.
That's not just like one. That's every year. Every year. That's how many people died.
But in your article, you mentioned a specific year, 2017 or something. So 110,000 people died, and I would probably say that most of those could have been avoided, if not all of them. Would you agree on there? So I think your argument is that, whether the word is clearly the word is meant to be hyperbolic in some ways, but if you're arguing from a consequentialist point of view, they have a political agenda, right, resulting in deaths, right? You're just skipping the middleman, because usually a terrorist will say, I have a political agenda, I'm going to commit these actions knowing that it's going to have
resulting in death.
Well, let me finish, because I'm actually supporting your argument here. So hang on.
Okay.
So normally a terrorist would have a political agenda. They do things for their ideology that they know will result in death, right? Because they're fervent believers in something. Rather, here you have a case where they may not believe, the anti-vaxxers may or may not believe that there are deaths being associated with their actions. But in the long run, the consequentialist point of view would be they are doing things which are politically motivated, resulting in people dying. And so you're just kind of skipping the middle ground, man, there. So this is why I'm not fully on board with the argument, because it is a little bit hyperbolic, and I think that you're doing that for reasons which I actually agree with. But it's not a bad argument, because they are killing people, whether it's intentional or not. They are letting people die. That's just a fact. So it draws attention to it, and I think that's fine. So I'm not criticizing what you wrote. I'm not. I do get it.
It has people talking, and it has people like finally looking at these people and thinking, you guys are a menace to our society. Whether or not you agree with them being terrorists or not, it doesn't matter to me. What I want you to think coming out of that is that these people are strategic They're politically motivated, and they're doing this with a simple goal in mind.
Right.
Make people fear vaccines.
Correct.
Yeah,
People,
no,
and
I
make
think there's something to be said for that.
and
Sure.
make people fear the government. Make people fear the big pharma. And doing so, you will trust people like Larry Cook, who sells supplements, or Dell, who sells this, or Jilly, who sells Jilly Juice, because they can cure you.
Yeah,
and it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to think about. Yeah, you know, it's something that you're only used to associating with a certain thing, but this, to me, in any way, it fits all the molds. So, caller, thank you for calling in. We'll yeah, very good call. We'll open up the line again and open it up to you guys. Maybe we'll have time for one more really good one.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
All right.
Yeah,
the
thank
next
you.
caller's got to be about Kyle's hair. Something about Kyle's hair, please.
We can do that. I'm ready to go.
Caller, you're on.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I'm not sure if I've gotten through or not.
Hello.
We have. Who are we speaking with?
You there?
Are you there?
Hello. I don't hear her anymore.
Yep. They're gone.
Well, she was there,
Well,
and then no more.
The number is 1-818-921-3838. Well, we have time for one more.
Yeah.
Oh, hello?
Hello.
500 people live. Anybody can call in.
There we are.
Okay.
It just takes a really long
Yay!
time to connect.
Who are we
Awesome.
speaking with?
This is Rain.
Hi,
Hi,
Rain.
Rain.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Rain.
How
So
are you?
I totally agree with Katie. I think this is an act of terrorism. I would even go a step further and say it's like a cult terrorist kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cultish. Yeah, no, that's not even argument. I mean, these people are cult-like mentality. There's no question about that. Yeah.
It's
Sure.
insane. And what I don't understand is I work in animal medicine, and I see people come in year after year and vaccinate their pets for things their dog is never going to see as an adult. And people don't think anything of it. They're just like, oh, this is what the veterinarian says. This is what I'm going to do. But you mention vaccines to parents, and their brain explodes. And it's like, I don't understand. No dog in the history of dogs has ever gotten an autism from a vaccine. But they all lose their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It drives
No, but
me
actually,
absolutely
Rain,
bananas. I don't even know. I don't understand how so many people can be so pig-headed and will follow anything they want because, they saw on Facebook that somebody said vaccines are dangerous and are going to kill your children. But parvovirus that your 14-year-old dog is never going to see. You better vaccinate for parvo because your vet said so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. I mean, people, and by the way, people know we're all like huge animal lovers, especially dogs, and people will actually probably vaccinate their dogs more than their kids sometimes. It's like, what? I don't get that.
It makes no
anyway,
sense.
Rain, you gotta have something. You gotta have something controversial for us, though.
What's that?
Oh, you gotta have something controversial.
My dog has autism. Sorry,
I can hear Katie talking, but I kind of cut out.
Oh, I was
trying to. You can't see though.
I panned my camera onto my dog, and I said she has autism.
Oh, my service dog is having a nap on the floor.
Yes, my hound is sleeping right over on the floor too.
Did you have anything you wanted to vent, Rain, or did you?
No, that was it. I just, it was something that every time I see an anti-vax person, claiming, these are all the so-called studies